Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the honor and privilege of having Eric Morgan with Roux Advertising out of the good old city of New Orleans. Good to have you today, Eric.
Oh, great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. To love having these kind of conversations.
And appreciate you speaking at our conference last month. It was a great success, and you did a great job. We appreciate it.
Thank you. No, you and your entire team, y'all put on a great show. I saw your team working their butts off. So please, and I told them thank you while I was there. And so please pass that along that, y'all pulled off a good one.
Yep. Yeah, they did a great job. I got to give it to them. So I want to talk today about building your brand and really thinking about, we got the big John Morgans coming in. We got these other big firms that are branching out. I'm seeing it in California. A lot of the LA lawyers are going up north, all over California. I'm getting complaints about that. Towns that Morgan's going in, people are feeling that to a certain degree, but then I see some of them that do just fine. I think about it like the Walmart deal back 20, 30 years ago when Walmart started going in small towns. Some of the people had to close up shops and some of them thrived. So, I think the ones that thrived figured out a way to set themselves apart from Walmart. They couldn't beat them on price, right?
Right.
They had to beat them on something else. So let's talk about how can these lawyers out here that cannot, as you said earlier when I was talking, out yell them or outspend them on TV and radio and billboards, what can they do?
Yeah, the Walmart analogy is great, and it's very fitting. Obviously, we know Walmart is one of the biggest retailers in the world these days, and we are seeing that in the legal industry, and honestly, in a lot of industries. And so, what we're doing right now is encouraging a lot of clients are just trying to figure out, because to your point, some of the small retailers existed, and they can thrive even with a Walmart in their space. And there's something about that retailer that allowed them to survive and to thrive, even with a Walmart down the street across town. And so it's the same concept, is that you can have the big, giant 800-pound gorilla in the market and still thrive. And we see it exists. It does work. And at the core of it is you have to figure out what it is that makes you interesting and unique, what it is that makes your firm interesting and unique, and differentiate yourself from the rest. So that way you stand for something that people really want, and they don't see it, and they can't get it in those other things. They can't get it in the Walmarts out there, and they still want to do business with them. So it goes through a process of just understanding what your brand is about. We call it brand realization. Like, why does it even matter? And who is it that it matters to? And how can you differentiate? Because if you were to take, 4 quadrants and bucketize everybody and say, okay, well, you got these people, these brands that are yelling and screaming over here, and you got these that are warm and fuzzy, and you got this one that's down home and they're wearing the cowboy hats and so forth. How can I live within this space? Because you can coexist, but you have to find something that matters to you. It's got to be truthful. It's got to be authentic, coming from who you are, whether that's your position, your purpose, your core values, and that you can then parlay that into a brand and a marketing initiative, because there are people that are going to want that. And then you can say, great, I found my people, and if I can convert them, then I can get so many cases a month. It's going to give me a cost per case or X, Y, and Z. And then I can build a business out of this. I've got this business model, and then I can own this space. And it's this ecosystem of sorts where everybody lives perfectly, meaning you got your people, you're converting them, you're providing the service that they need, the legal representation, you're making their lives better. And you can only do it as if you understand who you are, why you're different from the Walmarts of the world, and then ultimately convey that. So It does require some homework on the front end. You can't just wake up one morning and start advertising and saying, I'm going to put my face on a billboard or on a bus shelter. You need to do a little bit of homework and go through some processes to make sure that it's on point and that you really can deliver something that's different from that Walmart.
Do you think you can find it out from your past clients, sort of from past clients who have referred you clients? Figure out why they refer to you. What is it about you that they want to make sure that they?
Absolutely. And in fact, that is a critical part of it. And, one of your speakers at Summit last month said, you have to go and meet with your clients. Because I get it, some firms, the attorneys and managing partners, they don't meet with clients as much as they used to. But your speaker, and I can't remember who it was, but it was get involved and go meet with them. And my position on that for my presentation was, you're required to meet with them for a certain level of information. There's this requirement there. But there's also this other side, which is the desire. And that is, why did they come to you? What is it about your firm that made them say, I want to call Ken. I want to go to Ken's firm because there's something there. They've already proven that something works. The model is there. It's just for you to discover, bring it in, refine it, possibly even, amplify it so that way it can live on a bigger platform. And then you go out and get more of your current clients. It's not complicated. It really isn't. The people who are your clients, and if your firm's been around for years, you have a list of these. You've got a database of your clients. That's proof right there that you can you can have a model that makes a lot of sense and beat the Walmarts at their own game and live a very prosperous, healthy, growing life. So start there. Absolutely. I would start there. I would also analyze the other competitors in your market and put them literally on. We go through this exercise. We're putting them on a wall and we're kind of clustering them and going, where are they? What corners of the marketplace are they trying to live in? And you know what the funny part is when you do this exercise? You find that a bunch of them are in one particular corner and they're all competing and fighting for the same space. And then to us, we go, wow, that's an interesting observation because we can go in an opposite direction and come up with a position that speaks to who we want to provide legal representation to. So
Can you demonstrate, like, kind of give an example of that? I mean, you don't have to be a real client or anything, but just like an example, like, where would you see it? Like, what are these corners? Like, I mean, is it, I guess that's what I'm asking.
The corners are pretty unique to every market. They don't vary too much, but you have to do it on a market by market basis. And the corners really are, what does each law firm stand for? Meaning, what are they saying? You've got, the easy one on the surface is you got some that are yelling and screaming, going, I'm the heavy hitter and I'm going to get you the big money. Okay, great. You can lump all those in one corner. And then you're going to have another one that goes, I'm down home, I'm your neighbor, I live here and I'm born here and we're the local. Great. Put them in that spot. And then you've got some that are, look, I'm here to care for you. We hope you don't need us, but I can help you. And so you segment them into these buckets just so you can see where everybody lands and who's saying what. Because you don't want to end up in a corner where there's a ton of people saying the same thing, okay? You've got to differentiate. It goes back to that, the small retailer against Walmart. There was something unique that Walmart was not able to provide that allowed that retailer to thrive, okay? That's part of the exercise. There's something unique that allows the other firms to thrive and to grow. And you've got to figure out what that is. And to your point, you start by talking with your current and past clients, okay? You start by analyzing who's saying what, and more importantly, what are they not saying? What is that blank space that nobody's really talking about that your firm could possibly own? And if you own it, is there enough people out there that allow you to turn that into a space that becomes profitable? That you're that go-to guy, you're that go-to firm. And so you're looking at what people say, your current clients, what people are saying, competitors, what competitors are not saying, and allow that to be the exercise. I think I know that when you put this all together, you start having these observations and it becomes real clear. Wow, we've got a bunch that are doing this and a bunch that are doing that. It's no different than media tactics and advertising. It's, wow, we got a bunch that are doing billboards. Wow, we got a bunch that are, wrapping buses. So then the conversation becomes, am I just going to wrap more buses? Am I just going to buy more billboards? You can't. You can't outspend the 800-pound gorilla. It's just not possible. Especially, and this is really why we got into this area, especially for the attorneys that are younger. And look, we've got a lot of clients that just want to practice law. They want a nice, steady client stream, and they're not trying to dominate the world. Right? We've got some that are dominating the world and they want to do that. But we got some that just want to have a nice business model. And that's really what it comes down to. Okay. Yes, you got a law degree hanging on your wall, but at the end of the day, you're running a business. And you've got to, just like anybody else, just like the little retailer, you got to differentiate. You got to come up with a business model in terms of how many clients you need, what's the cost per case, how are you going to acquire them, what's the marketing, what's the outreach, what's the team that I need, how am I going to make all that happen? And it's not, let's go buy more billboards, because you can't buy more billboards than the other people. It's a losing proposition.
Yeah, I got caught in that many years ago, and I was battling with a guy 1 and 2 in the market on TV, and he hit like $1 billion case, and he just like doubled his spend in like one. I mean, and I said, I'm through. Game over. I'm not going to play this game. And I actually backed off a little bit and then came up with a client service satisfaction guarantee, 30-day guarantee, and it kind of bumped things up. I try to do, like you said, I tried to outthink him instead of try to outspend him.
Well, you mentioned the game, and that is part of it. You want to write the rules of your own game. And again, it's what's right for your company, because if you're trying to outspend somebody and you're trying to out billboard them, you're just playing their game and you're going to chase them, and you never win by following somebody and chasing somebody. Okay. So write your own rules. It's fairly simple and straightforward. Apple didn't chase Microsoft, right? Apple just wrote their own rules and look where they ended up becoming. That's part of it. And it's a lot of just thinking differently. And look, I ask my clients to just trust us and let me explain how this happens and what this looks like, because there is method to it. And it's sometimes foreign, sometimes nervous, because they always want to come in and go, we should be doing billboards because they're doing billboards. I'm going, that's their strategy. That's what they're trying to do. You have no idea why they're doing it. Okay. I get at the end of the day, it's cases, but you don't understand what that billboard is supposed to be doing for them. All right. Let's figure out what we need to do for ourselves. And there is a leap of faith there, because it's nerve-wracking. Look, I'm a business owner too. I get it. We have competitors as well, but we're doing our own thing. And the bottom line is, look, let's come up with custom programs that allow our clients to identify opportunities in their marketplace that allows them to predictably, chart a path towards growth. It's real simple. It's not, oh, we got this program and so-and-so's doing it, so you should do it too. It's not that. It's this identify opportunities, which could be an open space that nobody else owns, that you can own, and you can wrap your brand around it. You can wrap your intake department around it. You can wrap how your lawyers speak about it. You can wrap what your thank you cards and your happy anniversary and your birthday cards and your e-newsletter and your persona when you're doing videos and what you're writing about in blog. You wrap all that stuff around. That's the beauty of it. When you figure out what this differentiator is, I promise you, we will paint it on a wall and go, everything else bows down to this. Okay. If somebody comes in and says, we should be doing that, I look to this differentiator, this positioning, this strategy, and go, does that thing help me fulfill this differentiator that I've built. Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
I agree with you. Just like what my big deal, I decided it was going to be client service first. So I created a bill of rights for the clients. I created a client service manual for my staff. They had to take a test. I created a client advocate hotline they could call. All these things I did different to kind of support, not just say that we give great client service, but actually do something about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And, and so we could use all that in our marketing because, the 100-pound gorillas didn't have that, right? They didn't have
And
you know what I'm saying?
I completely, and that's the beauty of when you get this all set, is because if your firm becomes, client and service oriented, everything just magically starts expanding and unfolding for you. And you're like, wow, we should have this certification program for my staff because wow, we know exactly who I want to hire. If they're not service oriented, they can't be part of my team because they
Yeah.
won't live it. You know, if my potential customer, client wants service, I'm right for them. You start saying things in the ads, you start saying things on your podcast, on your blogs, on your social media. It's beautiful how many things start falling into place, not only from a marketing standpoint, but to your point, they had to take a test. Operationally, things start falling into place. It's so fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we never said we could get you the most money or anything like that. No big checks. And I know that works for them, but I just didn't want to go that route. I didn't think that was me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're right, because then you got to say, and you got to scream louder, but you got to say, I get you a bigger check. And then somebody's going to go, no, I get you a bigger check. It's an endless game. And so I'm like, why play that game? Why not create your own game to play? Because, we got billions of people on this planet. There's an audience size, like we call it audience sizing. There's a group of people in your market, in any market, that will gravitate towards that service-oriented law firm, okay, that you built. And so you look at it and go, all right, if there's 1 million people in my market and 10% of them are service-oriented, they make decisions, they hire law firms based on service, then can I do business? Can I build a business around 100,000 people that are fit that mold? And then you build that business model around it and go, yes, I can have a great business that grows year after year around 100,000 people. Great. You found your audience, you found your people. You know predictably how many people are out there. You can do the math. How many do I need to convert every year or every month to generate the revenue? What kind of cases do I need? And so a lot of this stuff just starts falling into place.
Yeah. Well, I think, finding like you said, the realization, the brand realization of what your message is. I mean, how are you going to stand out? I mean, why hire us over Joe Blow down the street? I think that's the first question you need to answer before you start spending a load of money. And then you got to figure out what you just said. Who is my
Yeah.
ideal client? And you could,
Yeah.
again, you go back and look at your old clients too and kind of do demographics and see where are they coming from? Are they coming from this zip code more? Are they blue collar? Are they white collar? Are they more educated, less educated? I mean, is it more women calling than men? I mean, what we found, I don't know what you're seeing, Eric, but when I was doing it, it was like 60-40, 62-38 women calling, even if they weren't heard, they're calling for their husbands or the boyfriend.
Correct. We are seeing a very noticeable skew towards the female audience.
Yeah. And I got my theories, but I got no data to back it up. I just think them guys, we did a lot of workers' comp. I feel like the man felt like I'm macho. I don't need da da da. Or sometimes just the women are smarter, and they want to look after the family.
I think it's both, honestly. You have male egos that don't want to admit, that they're hurt and they need help. And then you've got, just the female mentality that, quite frankly, runs the show in a lot of households and plays an important role on a tremendous number of fronts. And one of them happens to be taking care of this space, this area, getting the legal representation that they need. And so part of it is that understanding of who's the one making the decision and what is it that matters to them. And, we have this, you mentioned it, we have the brand realization because we've got clients that they need a position or strategy that just identifies these opportunities in their marketplace. And so the opportunities are, 65% female, depending upon what market you're in around the country. And it's they're making decisions. So how can we position our firm to align with what their desires and needs are in their life, they might be the primary person, they might be the primary client, or they're representing somebody, because nowadays in multi-generational type households where you've got, grandparents living, you got the grandparents, you got the parents, you got the grandkids. And so who's making the decisions? Who's ultimately the client at this point? And so you've got people, not only, females in some cases, thinking about themselves or making the decision for themselves, but they also could be making decisions for somebody else in their household. So it makes it more interesting, and it obviously leads to a lot of, what are you going to say when you strike up that conversation? And I say that, figuratively speaking, in terms of out in the marketplace, what are you going to say if you are buying a billboard, or if you're, involved in the community? And for your firm, the success was, look, we're great customer service oriented. We thrive on customer service. So we're the ones that are going to keep you informed. We're going to keep you up to speed at every point. We're the group that caters to your needs. We have all the systems that allow it. So that way, this relationship, client attorney, is easy. It's turnkey. You don't have to be bogged down with a lot of, painful decisions, or you don't have to, come in every week and sign documents. So it's that, and it allows you to kind of fulfill what that audience segment wants. You build your firm around it.
What's the other big deal you see lawyers kind of miss out, miss the boat on?
I think they are too microscopic in analytics. And this is probably, somebody's going to hear me say that I think they're over analyzing a lot of data, and somebody's probably going to gasp at that. But the reality is, it's very challenging to do attribution, meaning
Yes.
I know exactly how everybody got through my door. And you might know last touch because they clicked on an ad and got through the door, but they don't realize the exposure that they had before that click or before that phone call. And so I think people are overanalyzing data. Look, we're knee deep in data, but we also have to step back and look at it in a bigger picture. And it's funny. I mean, it's not funny. I mean, it's pretty intentional. Our name is Roux, obviously based in New Orleans, South Louisiana. Roux is a big component of our culture and our cooking heritage. But you have to look at the bigger thing and go, all right, I'm doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Is my overall case volume rising? Is my call volume rising with better quality calls? And so yes, do some homework and try and pinpoint what's different and what's new. But I think people are killing themselves trying to figure out that I know exactly when somebody saw the ad and all that stuff. It's very challenging to figure out. And, back to the Walmarts of the world, these retailers have very, very, very large teams of very smart people who are still trying to figure this out. And even they cannot figure out correct attribution to say, I know exactly what the mixture is that needs to happen. So I say, once you got your strategy, once you got your position, all that fun stuff, run campaigns, run outreach, whether that's paid, organic, or community oriented, and then look at it from a big picture and go, are these things that I'm doing helping? Are these things equating to a lift in my calls? Okay, yes, you're going to want to get under the hood and go, what exactly is it of my 4 things that I'm doing? All right, don't get in that rabbit hole, because what's going to happen is you're going to lose sight of the bigger picture of this mixture is producing this result. Test and tinker, all right? Constantly test and tinker, and just don't overthink it.
I'll be honest with you. I think 20 years ago, you might could have done it, but with internet, social media, back when we had yellow pages, they had, before the internet, and I still argued with the TV station before the stuff came online, because I'd say, they see me on TV, but then they go look me up in the phone book. I said, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I know this. Because I'd ask them. I had 2 questions. That's why I got the yellow pages. I said, I can see, I said, what are you looking at? They said, well, I'm looking at the phone book. I said, what made you go to the phone book? I mean, did you go because you just, or did you see something or hear something, or did somebody tell you? And then you went to the phone book to look us up. And
how did you get to the phone book?
Yeah. 50, 60% of the time it was the TV ads or somebody told them about us,
Yeah. An interesting exercise we do from time to time, because people are going, oh, it's paid search. Paid search gets me. And I'm not knocking paid search. We do paid search for clients all the time. But I will say, what keywords are they using? And they're like, oh, well, it's our brand. I'm like, well, how do you think they found out about your brand? They found out about it because of TV or outdoor or organic or digital or what have you. So I'm just asking people to step back for a minute and, maybe even step off the ledge for a minute and just think that there's this combination, there's this mixture. And, in the media planning buying world, it's called a media mix or a channel plan that allows, and yes, there's attribution there, but ultimately you're just going, I got a little bit of this in here and I got a little bit of that. It's just this recipe that says this gets me the case volume that I need. This gets me the calls that are quality that convert to cases that I need. And take it from there and then constantly tweak it and build it. Do not go overboard with the analytics.
I agree. I mean, it's just so hard now. I mean, that's what I tell our masterminds. I say, let's do something for a quarter. Let's do that one. Do whatever you're doing. Don't change anything. And then the next quarter, if you change something, does it go up or does it go down?
Yeah. Yeah. Look,
you know what I'm saying? If it goes down, and that's probably not working. Whatever you added.
Yeah, we do it more than a quarter. I mean, we're looking at it. Look, I don't want to get people the wrong idea. We're looking at it weekly. I mean, we are definitely going. What did we do last week? How did it perform? Was it new creative that we rotated in? Was it a different? Was it a different post on social media? Was it different ad group that we built for social media for paid search? All the things. You pick a channel. It's whatever we're tinkering and tweaking with. Great. How do you do it? It's like if you ever worked on a car, it's adjust this, adjust the timing, adjust that thing. Is the car performing better? So, we do tinker with it, but that's it. We don't get over obsessive and I ask my clients, please don't get over obsessive. Run the firm. Let us deal with this, because you can go crazy trying to figure this stuff out. It's challenging. And we're running into a lot of people that constantly spend time, lawyers who should be focusing on their firm, who are just, knee deep in this stuff, and they're making themselves insane. And it's just unhealthy, honestly. So that's my biggest concern, how to balance it.
Well, I think this has been good today. So if somebody wants to get in contact with you and learn more about what you do, or even just I know you've always been open to just talk to people and give advice for free. I mean, I know you do that.
I love talking about this stuff. So call me anytime, pick my brain. If I can help, great. If it turns into a relationship, great. If not, I can give you some advice, and maybe I can point you to somebody who can help. But we're on all the usual platforms, LinkedIn, all the Meta and so forth. It's rouxadvertising.com. It's ROUX advertising. I'm Eric at rouxadvertising.com. Pretty simple.
Good deal. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you. This has been fun. I enjoyed talking about it.
Yeah, me too. Till next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.